Good afternoon. Welcome to The Pulse. This broadcast is live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 125, and on all our social media handles. We're joining you on TV. Well, coming up this afternoon, Star Oil to drop prices at 2 p.m. today as follows. They will be selling super at 14.53 Ghana cedis and diesel at 16.97 Ghana cedis. Also coming up, Accra High Court grants freeze order of 5 bank accounts and 4 landed properties belonging to MPP's Dennis Miracles Aboagye. We have details. Government to introduce subsidies as fuel prices hits 2-year high as fresh analysis by Joy News research shows over 25% hike in a month with diesel fast approaching the dreaded 20 cedis mark. The Public Utilities Workers Union accuses government of acting in bad faith over the appointment of a transaction advisor to facilitate the private sector participation drive of the Electricity Company of Ghana. We have details. Also coming up, we'll tell you about a 51-year-old visually impaired man who climbs coconut trees, cuts down the fruit, and sells it to earn a living.
Kuma. Siale na ne de ma abe yale kase am ma babu abe ne. Aya me yawo. Ko so bi am sese. Ne me ne be fura. Ma no be hwem. Ko bra me basiswa. Zinna me du pan ses at least kam ko be du ko ne me du.
Plus, Ghana's appetite for Aboagye grows as frozen poultry offal becomes second largest food import in 2025. That is according to the latest data from the Statistical Service. We'll bring you voices of vendors and consumers shortly, plus further analysis by Joy News research showing offal import bill have more than tripled over the last 5 years.
It wasn't like that before, but now people are becoming a bit more health conscious and would choose offals over the fatty meat.
And later, the heat is on in the Volta region as 3 schools go head-to-head in a battle of brains and brilliance for a coveted ticket to the 2026 NSMQ Championship. We're live in the Volta region with the very latest. The latest of these and many other stories are coming up shortly. This program is brought to you by Defender Cough Expectorant. Defender, breathe easy, feel better. This is Joy News. We are your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. My name is Kenneth Gyasi. See you in a moment.
Hello, my name is Pamela from Customer Service. Please revalidate your account by texting your Ghana card number to 0500,000 247.
Hey, Abili, wabedim.
Madam, give me the numbers behind your ATM card. I'm calling from the head office.
An email was delivered across to our customers this morning.
Confirm if this is your bank account 100,100,100.
Thanks for sending your bank card details.
Send the OTP now to avoid cancellation.
EcoBank will never call, email, send an SMS asking for your PIN, OTP, bank card, or Ghana card details.
Don't get played. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Hello, please, I'm calling from Customer Experience Center.
Mispasses, bad referee decisions. Don't let your child's grade suffer a bad match. Ensure a straight win this academic season with curriculum-aligned textbooks and interactive tools from Pegasus Publishing. From preschool to senior high school, we have the exact game plan your kids need to ace their classes. And because it's World Cup season, you get a massive 20% off every single book. Don't drop points. Call 059-50-10175 or dash to Pegasus Publishing in Accra, Newtown, right opposite the Total Energy Station. Free delivery within Accra when you call. Pegasus Publishing, shaping minds, winning futures. Missed passes? Bad referee decisions? Don't let your child's grade suffer a bad match. Ensure a straight win this academic season with curriculum-aligned textbooks and interactive tools from Pegasus Publishing. From preschool to senior high school, we have the exact game plan your kids need to ace their classes. And because it's World Cup season, you get a massive 20% off every single book. Don't drop points. Call 059-50-10175 or dash to Pegasus Publishing in Accra, Newtown, right opposite the Total Energy Station. Free delivery within Accra when you call. Pegasus Publishing, shaping minds, winning futures.
Upgrade your print game with Konica Minolta, proudly powered by SkySat Technologies. From all-in-one machines that print, scan, and copy to professional systems and heavy-duty production machines, we deliver unmatched performance. Right now, SkySat has an unbeatable offer. 1 entire year of free servicing on all Konica Minolta machines. That's 12 months of expert maintenance for new and existing customers. Visit our new VIP print center at Pegasus Place, Airport Residential Area for a live demonstration. Call us on 050-164-5180 or 0302-798-829. Again, it's 050-164-5180 or 0302-798-829. SkySat Technologies, performance that delivers every time.
Limited. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Palladium Residences in Achimota isn't just an address, it's the home you truly earned. Secure your place with just a 10% deposit and choose from beautifully designed modern apartments or spacious townhouses built for everyday comfort. This is more than a building. It's a vibrant, curated community with a clubhouse, state-of-the-art gym, and an on-site hotel, all at ABC Junction, minutes from Achimota Mall. Enjoy city energy while retreating to your private sanctuary. Call now to reserve your unit and benefit from limited launch incentives, including priority unit selection, executive pricing, and flexible payment options available. Don't miss the chance to pick the best homes. Book your private site visit today. Call 050-9823-424. Palladium Residences. Live smart, invest better.
You're welcome to the program. And Star Oil Ghana has dropped prices as at 2 p.m. today of their petroleum products, and the prices are as follows. Super is now going for 14 cedis 53 pesos. Diesel is down to 16 cedis 97 pesos. There you have it on your screen. That's the CEO of Star Oil making that announcement on Facebook, Kwame Tieku. And in a related development, government is expected to caution consumers from soaring fuel prices by introducing subsidy of at least 2 Ghana cedis on diesel, Joy News sources have revealed. Well, the move comes as transport operators intensify calls for an upward adjustment in fares, citing the sharp rise in fuel prices and mounting operational costs. Well, operators insist the increasing cost of doing business is becoming unsustainable, leaving them with little choice but to push for higher fares. The latest surge in fuel prices has been driven by rising crude oil prices on the global market, coupled with the city's continued depreciation against major trading currencies. At Star Oil, as I told you earlier, petrol is now retailing at 14 cedis 53 pesos per litre, while diesel has reduced also to a little above 16 cedis per litre. Other oil marketing companies are also expected to revise their pump prices upward, but this latest jump in fuel prices will provide enough justification for another increase in transport fares? That's the question we're asking. We took to the streets to hear what transport operators have to say. Listen to them.
The rate at which the prices are going higher is a bit, worried to us, we the online drivers, for instance. And nothing has been done about, with the price, fare issue. So it's a bit worried. And we the online people, we don't know where our increment is coming from. But all we know is the fuel prices have been going higher each and every morning. By the time you wake up in the morning, you see the pumps have changed to different prices. It's a bit worried.
That dollar no kura war 17 cedis no.
Even with the dollar appreciating, the cost of spare parts remains high. We have no option but to increase transport fares. We are only waiting for our leaders to take action.
Because you're trying penny for no. Because price is general there enye.
Nkwala na ya panishom. Ya kwa waya juma. Upon
we are putting more pressure on our families. At the end of the day, our sales are barely enough to cover the cost of diesel. This situation is becoming very difficult for us. If I say otherwise, I will be telling lies. We want a reduction in fuel prices or an increase in transport fares.
Well, the leadership of the Ghana Road Transport Union, GPRTU, is also set to hold an internal meeting to determine how much it will increase fares following the rising cost of fuel at the pumps. Deputy PRO of GPRTU, Samuel Amwa, spoke to Joy News earlier.
The leadership of GPRTU, we are meeting to put our heads together because it's like the promise given to us by the Transport Ministry has failed. So we communicated to our members earlier that they should remain calm and that the promise that the fuel will come down. But, it has failed. So we need to put some measures down. Also, come up with our calculation in terms of, if we want to increase how the percentage that we will need and all that. So we are doing that today. Then we also involve all the other unions, the GRTCC and the other unions, so that we all, arrive at one point.
But even before the outcome of that meeting is made public, the government in a statement says it is absorbing part of the cost. Here's the statement on your screen right now. Right, so it says that President Mahama has directed that in line with the decision of Cabinet and the successful intervention implemented in April, the regulatory margin and diesel be reduced by 2 cedis per litre for 1 month. It continues to say that this directive shall take effect from today, August 4th, and shall remain in force for 1 month unless otherwise reviewed by government. Well, the government will continue to monitor developments in the international energy market closely and take additional policy measures where necessary to protect the interests of the Ghanaian people and sustain economic recovery. That is government spokesperson Felix Kwakye Ofosu, who released this statement on social media a while ago. Well, analysis by Joy News shows that current fuel prices are at their highest levels compared with anything we've ever recorded in the past 2 years. And joining me in the studio is the head of research, Isaac Akufo-Addo. Kofi, you've been tracking the data. Take us back to the last few years. What has been the trend like, fuel prices?
Well, so you can actually see what we, just this morning, diesel was selling around 19 cedis, 25 pesos. Some OMCs that we even expect to sell around price floor was selling around 19 cedis, 25 pesos. Petrol, 15 cedis, 99 pesos. But a lot has changed since we last entered this data in our database, because now we know Star Oil at 2 p.m. has decided that they're dropping their prices, especially not just for diesel, but also for petrol, right? You're seeing petrol now selling around 14 cedis and some coins, and diesel 16 cedis and also some pesos. That should tell you where we have come so far since morning when we saw these prices. But in terms of what we know about the trend so far, I'll first start with the last 30 days. What we know before the changes we've seen today is that in the last 30 days, both petrol and diesel have all gone up by some 25 pesos. It means that that's about 1 percentage point increase each day, right? That's a 25% increase since, the last 30 days. If you're looking at it since beginning of year, I want to tell you where diesel used to be at the beginning of the year. At the beginning of the year, diesel used to be around 12 cedis, 94 pesos. Now we're talking about 19 cedis, 25 pesos before the new changes that we're seeing, the announcement by government and all of that. That's about 48.8% increase since beginning of the year. That's about 50% jump since beginning of the year. Petrol on the other side, on the other hand, was doing 11 cedis, 99 pesos. And now today, we saw petrol hit around 15 cedis, 99 pesos before the new announcement by government and by Star Oil. But what we also know is that this new announcement coming from government, the wording was they were very careful with the wording that it was a reduction, which means it's going to affect some margins belonging to maybe the NPA, BOST, and the Petroleum Hub, not going to affect taxes, right? I we simply do not know whether the industry will bear this burden first before government decides to reimburse them. One thing we also know that this new reduction will not affect petrol. But Star Oil has decided that, well, we are reducing where we used to be for petrol now, somewhere around the price floor. We simply do not know. Star Oil is a big player. It's, in fact, in terms of volumes, it's number one before Goil. So we expect that this new announcement by Star Oil should cause some snowball impact. We expect some of the OMCs to also follow Star Oil and sell diesel around 16 cedis, way above the 2 cedi reduction that the government had actually announced. We're expecting that to be around 17 cedis. But for Star Oil to go below 17 cedis, it means some of the OMCs who are still big players, because they don't want to be undercut, will also decide to sell around that same price, and then petrol as well. But we also understand that the new announcement by government, especially for diesel, is going to last for a whole month, which means 2 pricing window. This window, which will end on the 16th of August, and the next window from the 17th to the last part of August, that will be, the lifespan of this new announcement by government, which is 2 cedis. The last time that government did some of this intervention or reduction, we understand from our sources at the NPA that it cost government close about, or it cost the entire cost was about 200 million Ghana cedis. This time around, we're not going to see the reduction or the reduction affect both petrol and diesel. It's only going to affect diesel. So if you do the math, that should be around 100 million Ghana cedis or about 120 million Ghana cedis. The first one was costly, was 200 million Ghana cedis. But there's one other fuel that has been left out of almost all the subsidies, almost all the reductions we've seen since the beginning of the year, which is LPG.
Right.
I can't tell you that LPG is increasingly becoming very expensive, and people are now reverting to the old ways of cooking, to charcoal and to firewood and all of that. Why? Because LPG currently very, very expensive. If you are filling about 12 kilos or 14 kilos, expect to pay more than 250 cedis, sometimes around 300 cedis if you are doing 12 to about 14 kilos. So in all of this conversation, we've not seen LPG feature in some of these interventions that we are seeing from government. But with this new arrangement or this new announcement from Star Oil, there is a lot that we are expecting as far as the OMC space is concerned. The big question is, are we likely to see that snowball impact as a result of Star Oil's decision to reduce its price way below where, they all used to be before government's announcement? 16 cedis and some coins for diesel and 14 cedis for petrol. Will there be that snowball impact? We'll still wait to see. Tomorrow we'll start monitoring the space, and we'll keep tabs on this news, because there's a lot that will happen within now, from now till tomorrow or even till the next window. And we must state that the space is not, rejecting or deciding to go above the window. The window only sets a minimum price and not a ceiling. So you can price above the minimum price, but there is no ceiling. So Star Oil reduction, you can see, is still even a little bit above the price floor and not below. So there is a law backing that, and that's why you see Star Oil not being able to go below that. There was a lot of, controversy on allowing some OMCs to actually price below the price floor, but that did not materialize. And NPA has been very clear that if you want to practice what Star Oil is doing, it must be national. You cannot subsidize for just some few stations and decide that the rest should actually price around your old price. So we expect that almost all the 200 stations across the length and breadth of the country of Star Oil will be affected by this new announcement, and the snowball impact is what we are keeping an eye on, Ken.
Isaac Akufo-Addo, thank you very much. Let's go on to the telephone lines right now and speak to Duncan Amwa. He's the Executive Director of COPEC. Mr. Amwa, welcome to the program. A lot of activities are happening within the petroleum sector, particularly this week. We've heard of government removing 2 Ghana cedis from diesel prices at the pump. How is this likely to affect the market?
Let me say good afternoon to you. Indeed, this is a positive development, but of course it's incorrect. And for people question the ability of the program, I do think that it's good government has intervened. Clearly, price get next in living. And I think that if you listen to the GPR and that's what operate, we couldn't have had 80% information at this point on what the government has involved a very short intervention.
Mr. Amwa, you'd have to speak up for me. I'm struggling to hear you.
What I was saying is, it is what it is well clearly what have the very fact on pump price you already have Star Oil declining the 9th Ghana region to about 16.9 current as of PM already in effect. But that the consumer will save on diesel so has been much from prevention. And so for those times, they will still be paying a little higher. Indications are that might have fuel price declining in the next couple of weeks. And if that be able to sustain it at the 16 and the 40 for petrol, for diesel and respectively, there might be a blend of stability as far as the fuel market and the transportation space is concerned. Don't forget, this intervention will cost the government 250 billion days for the next 1 month. Question of whether South allow this view of the fact that we have a tight budget run, I would say that this intervention is not one that government should rely on. Government should quickly find a way to move towards a strategic reserve program module, which then allows government to squeeze something within the taxes throughout the year, save something, and save or store fuel as and when prices are favorable, so that government can use that fuel that it bought at lower price when prices are favorable to intervene in the market when prices get a bit steeper. These interventions we are seeing, like I indicated, positive, but it could be short-lived because, again, it is going to cost government some revenue that it clearly wouldn't have taken alone.
It's quite interesting because we are only hearing of the deduction or reduction on diesel. Petrol has been left out, LPG has been left out. Why do you think that is the case?
Clearly, if you see the trend of increases for petrol and diesel, what you were seeing with diesel was quite alarming or staggering. A situation where the person driving a diesel engine is paying 19 Ghana cedi, approaching 20 Ghana cedi, whereas the one paying for petrol was paying about 14, 15 Ghana cedi. A variance of almost 4 Ghana cedi was quite significant. And so I was not surprised government took the intervention on diesel, although I would have wished that some 20 pesos could equally have been given to the petrol users so that they also get some relief and feel that impact in their pocket. But it is simply down to the trend. If you look at how fast the prices of diesel were going, if you were to take that decision as a president, I'm sure your call will be to ensure that those paying super high for diesel could be mitigated a bit. And I'm sure that would explain why the government will take this kind of a decision.
Let's look at Star Oil, the second biggest OMC, recently overtaken by Goil. Now they've reduced their prices. Diesel and petrol have all come down. Diesel is selling at around 16 cedis, 97 pesos. We have Super also selling at 14 cedis, 53 pesos. How is that likely to impact the other OMCs? Will it trigger all of them to also immediately follow suit?
What I do know is that Star Oil has kept that faith with its customers. And then again, you look at their activity as far as their marketing, PS marketing is concerned. They would always want to be on the side of the consumer by way of doing whatever they can to give you lower prices. Goil has come to the table equally and are doing same, but we have not seen much from Goil this particular window. The likes of Total, Shell, they seem quite conservative. They seem not to care really about the issue of prices. So people who buy from some of these OMCs and have stuck with them, you can say they are your conservative consumers who probably are not really bothered about prices. But as far as the two bigger OMCs are concerned, that competition has been steep. I am not surprised Star Oil has already come out with prices that should take effect tomorrow, today. If you read the government notice, it says that the reduction should kick in on the 4th of August, which is supposed to be tomorrow. But already Star has already indicated as of 2 p.m. today, it is delivering those low value to their customers. It's quite positive. I think that the other OMCs, if they are able to and they have the fiscal space, should also find something worth giving to the consumer so that the trotro, the taxi drivers, the online drivers can at least pay their transport fares without the need to increase, as we saw last week they threatened.
Duncan, don't go yet. Kojo Poku is an energy analyst. He's also joining the conversation. Kojo, welcome to the program. Government has reduced petrol prices or diesel prices at the pumps by 2 Ghana cedis. Good move? Do I have Kojo Poku on the line? Unfortunately, I appear to have lost Kojo Poku there, but I still have Duncan Amwa with me. Duncan, just the last 24 hours, we've seen the prices of crude on the world market come down. How is it likely to impact the local market?
Well, indeed, anytime you find crude prices decline, I have always said that it takes a lag of between 3 to 5 days to reflect on the price of finished product. So once crude markets come down, you are likely to see a reduction in overall pump prices or fuel prices globally. So I indicate, and I stick to this, that the next window ahead, which will be probably the second window of August, there's a higher tendency prices will go down. Again, I insist that the NPA should be told to desist from this price floor publication that it continues to do. As we speak, if prices were to decline sharply on the international market, to an extent that an OMC could even afford to sell at 12 cities before the 16th of August, when you publish the pricing floor and say that nobody should go below 1453, what it means is that even if prices were to decline between now and, say, the 10th of August, and prices could have gone to 12 Ghana cedis, MPA is effectively restricting the OMC from giving or passing on that reduction. And I think that the earlier Mr. President and the government together take a look at that publication, the better it will be for the consumer. When it's going up, there's no ceiling. So you saw within the last window of July, the OMCs had increased prices almost every second day or third day. When prices were going up, they went up cumulatively. When it has to come down, you are publishing a pricing floor that says the OMC should not go down to that, below that limit. Mind you, the window we are in, the first window of August, it is likely prices could decline below the 14 Ghana cedi region for petrol, and then even for diesel, it can even come below the 16 Ghana cedi threshold already published. So MPA would need to look at this again and see to it that the market is allowed to breathe. Demand and supply function should be allowed to dictate prices and not NPA certain floors without ceiling.
Duncan, don't go yet. Kojo Poku is an energy analyst. He's joining the conversation right now. Kojo, do I have you?
Yes, I'm here. Good afternoon.
Welcome to the program. What do you make of government's decision to reduce diesel prices by 2 Ghana cedis?
Well, any reduction for consumers, we are happy. I mean, we are all consumers of petrol and we are consumers of diesel one way or the other. So any reduction that gives us a breather helps us have a good thing. The only problem I have is that all affected governments have much long-lasting solution than the removal of the margin. Because bear in mind, when government seems to remove levies and margin, it creates a problem for the service providers who these levies go to pay. So you are giving them more money, a build-up of debt in the sector. There is a government that has said that they want to make sure that all legacy debt or arrests are paid. So when you take actions like moving the subsidies on diesel, you have been left in margin. It is creating shortfall in the receivables that could be paid service providers. So we want a situation where there is a long-lasting solution that, because look, in terms of now 28 you used to. Let's say the situation escalates and it goes up another 2 cities. Are you going to go and repeat again? Because let's say 8 cities is a red line for you. So anytime it gets to 8 cities, you're like, oh, let's reduce it. Now, let's say whatever is going on in the Middle East, there's talk of a deal, and that is creating the market to resent and come back to the lower $80 for crude, and the flat is also coming down a little. But if this situation escalates next week or by the end of the weekend, and the prices go past the 18 cities, then what do? Do you go back to reduce another 2 cities? The worrying part is that the Minister of Finance does not want to touch the tax that he brought. We lived in this country when we were told that prices are low, so there was the 1 cedi that was introduced. Now prices are high. That 1 cedi seems to have come to stay. And what we are being told is that every now and then, within a month or a small window of 2 weeks or 4 weeks, 2 cedis should move so that when prices come down, then it is restored. That is not permanent. Those are short-term measures. We pray that government have a much holistic view of what is happening around the world, and put in place something more permanent than just the short-term measures that we have.
Let's look at the long-term measure that you want government to put in place. What will be advice?
You want me to advise government? My dear, how am I going to advise government? Government is the one who's in power. They are the ones who are supposed to have the round table and put in the measures. We are consumers. We are worried. We are saying that, look, what we want is, before there was the price stabilization recovery levy. The price stabilization recovery levy was that when prices get to a certain amount, that levy is zeroed and it doesn't add to the build-up. For some reason, that money is going to the Ministry of Finance. Ministry of Finance doesn't want to give that to consumer anymore, right? So it's not for me to keep proposals to government. It's for government to base it around the measures government takes and decide what you think is a measure for Ghanaians and you to have unity.
Well, President John Mahama over the weekend tasked the Thermal Oil Refinery to be up their game, to be up and running, to be able to produce 100,000 per barrel of crude a day. Do you think that will make any difference in the current predicament we find ourselves?
Brother, what he said was that they should draw up a plan to bring it to the government to look at how they are going to expand the refinery to 100,000 barrels. That is something that's going to take about the next 5 to 8 years to build. That's a medium to long-term plan. That's not the immediate plan. What Thor is doing now is a nameplate of about 45,000 barrels, or let's say 40,000 barrels a day. That is what they are doing currently. Any plan to upgrade or expand the refinery is not something that happens in the next 2-3 years.
Right.
Okay, so that doesn't come into the conversation. But you see, mostly when it comes to local refining, that gives you what you call fuel security. Okay, it doesn't necessarily impact so much on prices. It makes sure that you have in-country products, so that anything that happens external, you are able. But bear in mind, the crude oil used by these refineries are affected by the same crude oil that the price goes up when these problems comes up.
Kwadwo Dongoye, same with Duncan. I have Samuel Amwa on the line with me. He's the deputy spokesperson of the Ghana Private Road Transport Union. Samuel, welcome to the program. Earlier, your group had threatened to increase fares due to the escalating prices of petroleum products at the pumps. Now, the president has announced a 2 cedis decrease on diesel. That should come as a good news for you, isn't it?
All right, thank you very much for having me. Let me say good afternoon to you and then your viewers and listeners. Yes, the president has announced this 2 cedis reduction of the diesel price. But trust me, yes, the reduction has come all right, although he didn't also touch fuel. I don't know, maybe forgetting that our members are also using, petrol. We proposed the 30%. By then, the diesel price was approaching 17 cedis a litre. Then petrol too was approaching 15 cedis a litre. Then the main reason why we were asked to suspend the 30% proposal was that they promised to make sure that the fuel price will come down from where it was. That was.
Hello, Samuel. Do I have you? We have unfortunately lost Samuel Amwa there. He's the deputy spokesperson of the Ghana Private Road Transport Union there. I still have Kwadwo with me. He's an energy analyst. Duncan Amwa is also the executive director of COPEC. Kwadwo, we're getting the information that the crude prices on the world market has gone down right after the U.S. refused to go ahead with the strikes they had announced on Iran together with Israel. Do you think this will have any impact on our local market?
Yes, it should have. It's not easy. What we use is a plat. Whenever the forward rate, which is what we will buy going forward, comes down, then the local prices will come down. Whenever there is this upward and downward trajectory, it doesn't help the industry. So look, we are in this window, and what Ghanaians should know is that it doesn't necessarily have to be in 2 weeks before prices change. Prices can change anytime. So now that there has been a sort of a talk of a heel and prices are coming down, the industry will look at it and reduce prices. If there is also an escalation, the prices will increase on the daily or weekly basis. So now that there is some talk going on and the prices come down, so I'm sure the industry will look at it. By weekend, the prices would have come down from the high so a couple of weeks ago.
Okay. Kojo Dongoya, let me bring back Duncan Amoah, who's the executive director of COPEC. Duncan, the fuel prices on the world market have become very unpredictable, especially this year, and we've seen government intervention more than once. Many are asking, for how long will government continue intervening?
I do think genuinely that these interventions, though very good, well-intentioned, and of course, delivering relief to the consumer by way of what they would have paid out of pocket being reduced for them. The longer term, government should, without any further delay, look at the strategic reserve program and not waste time any further. The myriad of taxes you have on petroleum products, such that if government decided to take some deductions here and there and invest that into a strategic reserve program, we should be able to study the petroleum price curve and decide when prices decline, we can fall on the tanks of boss and be able to store some of the product so that when you get to high seasons or peak seasons like you had a few days ago, government, instead of going to take money or reduce whatever taxes, then could fall on products that they bought at lower prices to be able to stimulate the market positively. These interventions by government positive, but clearly these are interventions that cannot be termed as sustainable over the long haul. Something ought to be done, and we think that we'll continue to engage government to see that they fix that situation properly and that we don't continue to wait for prices to get out of pocket and then we now call on Mr. President to now intervene and reduce taxes for everybody. Something has got to be done, and we think that the strategic reserve program is the way forward for all of us.
Duncan Amoah, thank you very much. He's the executive director of COPEC. Kojo Poku is still with me. He's an energy analyst. Kojo, do you agree with the proffering of solutions by Duncan Amoah?
Well, my brother Duncan has been advocating for strategic reserve for a very long time. I mean, as long as I've known Duncan, it's one of those things that COPEC has always advocated for. In every policy, there is always a pro and con to it. I think it's something that can be looked at. We can look at the good side and the bad side and address how we can put in mitigating factors to absorb the downside of having strategic reserves. But it is something worth looking at. It has been used by some countries to solve the problem. So I don't think Ghana is far-fetched from exploring that option. Just that me and Duncan are not in government. We sit on the sideline and fight.
Right.
And hopefully somebody will listen.
Kojo Poku, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. He's an energy analyst. Let's go back onto Zoom and speak to Samuel Amoah, who's the deputy spokesperson for GPRTU. Samuel, do I have clear connection to you now? Hello, Samuel? Well, we have unfortunately lost Samuel Amoah on the line. He's the deputy spokesperson for GPRTU. Right, so if you're just joining the conversation, the news we have for you now is that government has intervened to reduce diesel prices at the pump by 2 Ghana cedis. So let's try one more time and reconnect with Samuel Amwa, who is the deputy spokesperson for GPRTU. Samuel, do I have clear connection to you now? Hello, Samuel? Kindly unmute your microphone so we can hear you, Sam. Right, and as I was mentioning, government has intervened to reduce diesel prices by 2 Ghana cedis, effective tomorrow. Away from fuel prices, well, 5 bank accounts and 4 landed properties belonging to former executive director of IMCOD, Dennis Miracles Aboagye, have been frozen by Yoko due to the orders of an Accra High Court. Well, we'll bring you that story later. You're still watching The Pulse. Don't go anywhere.
PM Express, power is confronted, claims are tested, and accountability is not optional.
The first 2 months in office between January, February, and March, we had already brought down this rate, and then we have sustained it since.
Politics, business, the economy, social justice. If it affects your life, it will be examined. If it shapes your future, it will be interrogated.
You ever sitting there today, you see me sweating, I'm answering your question, you in the comfort of your chair, putting all these questions to me. That is why you would not have the responsibility of bringing about this document.
No safe spaces for evasion, no comfort in half-truths, just facts, pressure, and the courage to stay with the question until the answer comes.
Your word says,
my words were,
those on Compact Plus, you pay 570 and you get more channels.
Evans,
that moves you.
This is the speech.
To the
speech I read yesterday is what I'm holding here. You didn't read the speech. You didn't write it. I wrote it and I read it.
Because democracy demands scrutiny and the public deserves clarity. When the day's noise fades and the nation needs understanding, there is PM Express on Joy News. Independent, fearless, credible.
Hello again. 5 bank accounts and 4 landed properties belonging to former Executive Secretary of the Interministerial Coordinating Committee on Decentralization, Dennis Miracles Aboagye, have been frozen by an Accra High Court. The order follows an application by the Economic and Organized Crime Office, YOCO, as it intensifies investigations into the alleged misappropriation of about 55 million cedis in public funds. Miracles Aboagye and a former accountant are being investigated of allegations including theft, money laundering, causing financial loss to the state, and using public office for profit. Although he has since been granted bail after his arrest at the Accra International Airport, Yoko says investigations are ongoing and no criminal liability has yet been established. Well, let's bring in our legal affairs correspondent, Kweku Asante, for more on this development. Kweku, welcome to the program. What more do we know about this?
Well, yes, Ken, as you say, this is in relation to an allegation that Mr. Miracles Aboagye, while he served at the Interministerial Coordinating Committee on Decentralization, may have misappropriated or stolen some funds. Because this matter has not been charged in court yet, we do not have an idea of the specific charges or the specific case that Yoko is building against Mr. Dennis Miracles Aboagye. But on the basis of the ongoing investigation, Yoko has made an application to the Accra High Court seeking the freezing order of certain properties belonging to Mr. Dennis Miracles Aboagye. Under the law, under the Yoko Act, Yoko is able to undertake some initial freezing, and then as time goes on, they have to apply to a high court to get that confirmation of the freezing order, and that is what has happened. And so we are getting some more information as to what exactly the properties in questions are here. 5 bank accounts that are related to this, and all transactions on those bank accounts are now blocked. There is a 7-bedroom residential property in Latte. As we speak, it has also been frozen. What this means is that Miracles Aboagye cannot enter the premises of this property. There's another 2-bedroom residential property at Spintex that has also been frozen, a residential apartment complex at Adjungano here in Accra, and then approximately 15 acres of land situated in Latte. So these are the 4 landed properties in relation to this, and the 5 bank accounts in question: a 7-bedroom apartment in Latte, 2-bedroom in Spintex, a residential apartment complex in Adjungano, and 15 acres of land. And so this is the orders of the court granting the freezing order, and so these properties said to be belonging to Dennis Miracles Aboagye of the New Patriotic Party have now been frozen by the High Court, particularly on the say-so of Yoko, and they have that order, and they went to the court for a confirmation order.
It's quite interesting because we know that the court went on recess last week, so many are wondering, how is this possible, this order?
Well, yes, it's true. The Superior Courts of Judicature are on legal vacation, but it does not mean that every single court is shut down. There are what is called vacation courts that continue to sit even when the courts are on vacation. And so the Chief Justice has designated some courts, and this happens every year because the courts cannot be completely shut for 2 months because of the consistency in the need for people to go there for bail and other issues. So while generally Superior Court, that is the High Court, the Court of Appeal, and the Supreme Court are on bail, some of the high courts are designated as vacation courts. They continue to sit, and matters continue to be debated and discussed in those particular courts. And in particular, we know that certain oral courts, the special division of the court, as well as the criminal division, Justice Audrey Kokuvite, Justice Achibonga, are all sitting on oral cases. This case did not particularly go to them. But yes, like you said, even though the courts are on break, there are some courts that are designated as vacation courts that continue to sit within this period, Ken.
And then also you mentioned that some of the properties are residential apartments. Does it mean that the people, if there are any, renting the apartments and properties at the moment will have to vacate? What happens to them?
Well, yes, once this freezing order has been confirmed, usually that is what is going to happen. What the freezing order does is to preserve the status quo ante, because the investigative body continues to claim that they are still investigating the matter. And so they do not want this person who is subject to the investigation to dissipate those properties. And that is why they usually will freeze it. So if it's a bank account, it is frozen. You cannot withdraw money into it. You cannot put money into it until the investigation are completed or the freezing order lapses. When it comes to a residential property, even when people are living in, usually those people would have to vacate because of the pendency of the investigation that is going on. But those mechanics can always be worked on. There can be some sort of arrangement. If it's a residential complex that is for rent, all those issues may be dealt with. But generally, if a residential property is frozen, residents may be ejected for the purpose until those freezing orders lapses, Ken.
And have we heard anything from the camp of Miracles Aboagye concerning this?
Well, not as we speak. Dennis Miracles Aboagye, we should put on record, continues to maintain his innocence. We know that a couple of weeks back, Yoko did arrest him when he did arrive from a trip abroad, and he was detained for a couple of days. He was granted bail. That bail is still in force. Miracles is out as we speak. But as of the specifics of these freezing order, we are yet to hear from him. But we should say that he maintains that he's completely innocent of the charges or the allegations that are being made against him by Yoko and the state writ large.
Kweku Asante is our legal affairs correspondent. Thank you, as always, Kweku. Well, the government will this week begin discussions to review the payment arrangements of Ghanaian crude oil supplied to the Tema Oil Refinery following a directive from President John Mahama to explore settling payments for the crude in Ghana cedis instead of US dollars. Well, Well, the proposed review is aimed at reducing TOR's reliance on the foreign exchange market to pay for domestically produced crude oil. Speaking at the commissioning of the refurbished Tema Oil Refinery Crude Distillation Unit, Minister for Energy John Jinapor said the review follows concerns raised by the president over the existing framework, which requires TOR to source US dollars from the foreign exchange market to pay for crude oil deliveries. According to him, President Mahama questioned why the refinery, which processes crude oil and sells its petroleum products in Ghana cedis, should continue to rely on foreign currency to settle payments for crude supplies.
So when we talk about the reset agenda, this is the reset agenda. We are creating jobs. We are adding value. And yesterday when I went to Mr. President's house, he brought another angle. He said, you know, Paul, so when Tema Oil Refinery and Central, they take delivery of the oil, how do they pay? And I said, Mr. President, in accordance with the Petroleum Holding Fund and in accordance with the Petroleum Revenue Management Act, they have to go and look for dollars and pay in foreign currency. He gave me instructions. Unfortunately, the finance minister and the governor, they were around. He said, rethink. Take a second look at it. When Tema Oil Refinery takes the crude and they process and sell it in Ghana cedi, why don't we pay Ghana cedi into that account and use our own cedi rather than going to the forex and buying dollars? And then the governor said, yes, Mr. President, you are right. Because when we go to the market and we buy forex, we put pressure on our currency. We add cost to it. So next week, let's have a meeting so that we can restructure that. Ladies and gentlemen, now, Umpe President we.
President Mahama in his speech said the government plans to restructure Tema Oil Refinery in order to permanently eliminate political interference in its work. He directed the Minister for Energy to work with the board and management of TOR to present the government with a strategic plan to expand capacity of the refinery to 100,000 barrels a day.
Today's ceremony should not be viewed as the end of the restoration program. Rather, it marks the beginning of a much bigger national ambition to build an integrated petroleum industry that serves our domestic economy, supports regional trade, and contributes meaningfully to Africa's industrial renaissance. In this regard, I'm pleased to announce that I've directed the Minister of Energy and Green Transitions to work with the board and management of TOR to present government with a strategic plan to expand the capacity of the refinery to 100,000 barrels a day. We will also restructure the Tema Oil Refinery in order that we permanently eliminate political interference in its work. The 24-hour economy is coming. Thank you. That ambition is entirely consistent with our government's broader economic transformation agenda.
Let's bring in Benjamin Insia. He's an energy analyst. Benjamin, welcome to the program. 100,000 barrels per day from TOR. Is it doable?
It is, if we're able to get strategic partners to inject some capital resources as well as some human and technological resources to scale up this particular production in the medium term.
How do we do that, though? And how long is this likely to take?
So as we speak, I think TOR has a lot of liabilities. And for that matter, we may not be able to mobilize resources to kickstart this particular project. So what I think government is likely going to do is to open up for investment abroad or local persons or individuals or institutions that do have these resources or they have these capabilities to partner to embark on this project will be spoken to show interest or some form of commitment. And if the process, due diligence are done, and these investors do have the capacity, I think the government will engage them. Beyond that, I also think that listening to the president, government is trying its possible best to list Tor on the stock. And I think that this listing also is likely going to increase the equity of various interests and also increase the capital base of Tor to be able to also embark on this project as a public liability company.
Right. Currently, Tor produces less than half of what the president is suggesting. What difference will that make if they are able to meet the 100,000 barrel per day?
The difference is that, one, there's likely going to be fair pricing of petroleum products locally because all the costs associated with petroleum pricing will be known and also be a bit transparent because total production will be able to meet total demand. Thereby, issues of premiums being quoted by BDCs will be dealt with. So there's likely going to be fair pricing. Beyond the fair price, I also think that when Tor begins to do 100,000, in addition to Sentio, Ghana is likely going to have a new pricing regime within the petroleum downstream. Currently, we are price takers of petroleum products, especially the finished products. When you watch MPA's website, normally we take prices from abroad, maybe some of the international trading platforms. We do so because most of these products are imported abroad. But if Tor and Sentio are able to do what we consume and even export, it means that we need a pricing regime whereby we set our own benchmark prices. And these benchmark prices will also help stabilize and make sure our prices are comparatively cheaper. So the issue of fairness in pricing also come to play when Tor does this 100,000 barrels per day. Beyond that, I also think that it has macroeconomic impact, socioeconomic impact, and I think that if they, within the medium term, if they're able to do, it brings a lot of benefit to the general economy of Ghana.
Well, the president has also raised concerns about the transaction of business within the sector in this country in US dollar. He wants it to be transacted in Ghana cedis. How possible is that?
The possibility depends on amending the Petroleum Revenue Management Act. I think that through that amendment, we'll be able to now begin to mobilize resources in cedi and then allocate these resources to the various funds in the Act, because he mentioned petroleum holding funds. Some of the funds under this fund, like the Stabilization Heritage Fund, are supposed to be dollar rated funds or dollar deposit funds. So even if you sell the products to Tor in cedis, still you need the dollars to be able to push into these funds. So we need amendment. If you're able to amend the Petroleum Revenue Management Act and insisting that every fund in that particular act must be a cedi based fund or cedi deposit fund, I think that it addresses this problem that the president mentioned.
But what concern is there as we speak right now that businesses are transacted in US dollar? Because even if it is going to be done in Ghana cedis as the president wants, that's going to be the dollar equivalent in cedis, no?
Yes, but one thing is that it helps address the issue of forex. So what it simply means is that we are likely not going to peg our pricing of petroleum products in dollars, but in cedis. As we speak today, when you pick the price from the international trading platforms, you are supposed to convert the price of these products into cedis based on the exchange rate. However, if you are getting the feedstock or the raw materials in cedis, it means that you are likely not going to quote the price of these products in dollars. And at any point in time, it makes your products quite cheaper. That's why I mentioned earlier that if Tor and Sentio are able to do our total demand, it means that our pricing regime will change, and we need that reform to ensure that prices are comparatively cheaper.
Benjamin Isia, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. He's an energy analyst. Let's stay a bit longer on the energy sector because the Public Utilities Workers Union has accused the government of ignoring concerns raised by the union while pressing ahead with plans to privatize the Electricity Company of Ghana and the Northern Electricity Distribution Company, NEDCO. According to the union, despite submitting a position paper opposing the privatization initiative, the Energy Ministry has not responded to its concerns, yet has proceeded to appoint a transaction advisor to advance government's agenda. In a statement signed by its General Secretary, Timothy Nyami, the union described the move as a breach of a mutual trust and confidence that has characterized engagements between the union and the ministry. Well, the General Secretary of POO, Timothy Nyame, has also been providing further details regarding their concerns over the issue. Take a listen.
So you can see the record high performance of TOH. And as you can also recall, you can also attest the record high performance of ECG. From the time His Excellency appointed the Board of Directors and Management of ECG, we have come together with collaboration with the workers to help turn around the fortunes of the organization. Our position said that ECG leadership, the ECG problem is leadership problem. So when His Excellency appointed this team of the leaders, you have seen the tremendous changes that have come. So we have continuously opposed the infusion of private sector in the operations of ECG, saying that if a state, also national strategic asset, like he was mentioning TOH as a national strategic asset, is also not different from ECG as a national strategic asset. So we are taking our position that ECG should not be given to any private hand. The government should continue to empower the people that he has appointed for them to deliver. So we have, if you can recall, we have got a lot of media calls about our position when it comes to PSC. I'm going to tell them that we are in talk with government. Government has not engaged the union, only for her to hear that they have gone ahead to appoint a transitional advisor and giving timeline for the transitional arrangement into PSC. That's what we are saying. It's a breach of trust. So what they told us to do, and we have done, they have not done their part.
You're still watching The Pulse here on Joy News. We return from the break with more. PM Express, power is confronted, claims are tested, and accountability is not optional.
The first 2 months in office between January, February, and March, we had already brought down this rate, and then we have sustained it since.
Politics, business, the economy, social justice. If it affects your life, it will be examined. If it shapes your future, it will be interrogated.
You ever sitting there today, you see me sweating, I'm answering your question, you in the comfort of your chair, putting all these questions to me. That is why you would not have the responsibility of bringing about this document.
No safe spaces for evasion, no comfort in half-truths, just facts, pressure, and the courage to stay with the question until the answer comes. Your word says,
my words were,
those on Compact Plus, you pay $570 and you get more channels.
Evans,
that moves you.
This is the speech.
To
the speech I read yesterday is what I'm holding here. You didn't read the speech. You didn't write it. I wrote it and I read it.
Because democracy demands scrutiny and the public deserves clarity. When the day's noise fades and the nation needs understanding, there is PM Express on Joy News. Independent, fearless, credible.
Hello again. A 51-year-old coconut seller in Aguna Dunkwa is keeping his enterprise alive despite losing his sight to glaucoma. He still climbs trees, harvests the fruit and sells it to earn a living. His determination is helping him preserve his independence and challenge perceptions of disability. Thelma Abe traveled to the central region to meet him and now reports.
A few days ago, I met a coconut seller whose story I just couldn't ignore. Despite being visually impaired, he works every day by the roadside serving customers and earning a living. But who is he beyond the coconut stand? What challenges does he face? And what keeps him going?
The first thing you notice is the sound. The sharp crack of a machete, splitting open fresh coconuts beneath the scorching afternoon sun. Customers come, money exchanges hands. Everything seems ordinary until you notice something unusual. The man selling the coconuts never sees the people standing before him. Not because he chooses not to, but because he cannot.
Maybe 51 years.
51. For more than 4 decades, coconuts have been a part of his life. Long before darkness found him, he climbed trees, worked hard, and earned a living as a sawmill operator. Then, 6 years ago, his world slowly began to blur.
One day, now, what I'm saying, we come, oh no, no, say, no, when you are quit, they say, hospital. So, for me, more come on in to the back, no for so far, hospital, hospital, many a coma. See, I didn't the man, Abbey Yalicasi, and my mother were name. I am out. Come so be, I'm to say, the many be flat, one of a trap, or Bram Bassua. It's never do, banks, at least you come go to do,
Doctors prescribed medication that could help slow the disease. But medicine cost money. And for the past 2 years, there simply hasn't been enough. Today, the man who once climbed trees can no longer see them. Yet, every morning, before a single coconut is sold, another journey begins. Not to the roadside, but to the farm. And he never walks there alone. Kojo Nkrumah and Kofi Ahene together harvest coconuts from 52 trees on Kojo's farm. And when the harvest is poor, they buy from other farmers instead. Then they return to the roadside, not as employer and employee, but as two friends, trying to survive another day. Friendship, Kofi says, isn't measured by how long you've known someone. It's measured by whether you remain when life becomes difficult. Ask him about music, and the weight on his shoulders seems to disappear.
No, my see you are, Mr. Good to be, Mr. Miss Boa Mada.
And you bear now tight here.
Janway, could you money by you while I was Stone boy. Stone boy. It's the only way to drive up. I know it's
Selling coconuts without sight requires something many of us rarely think about: trust.
That's saying.
That's why 5 cities.
5 cities. And that could be out me tongue could be saying.
If you go about to go 10, you are about 10 water. 10 is 50 Ghana.
50 Ghana.
50 Ghana, maybe 25, 25. The day I made the density. We maintain the density. I let you make the density. It is that 25 cities never come on a part in the upper half. Necessary, you have to maybe I'm say, can't be park here. No, sorry. That was my benching. You are wow.
Now, we are then kind Sika, so be tried in our mouse. Sika, we are then a who's kind.
Oh, it's kind of mamma, the Mrs. Subsia. You say, we're 20, we're 50, we're 5, we're 10.
In Sicily, I say, Memao Sika, we are. She say, I say.
50 Ghana. And I'm what? 10 cities.
10 cities. I now who say in Kofo Emma the right amount. Na nye say or muchi too.
Me what but me too catch some such problem. See, boame.
Okay.
Now it's carry on be mama 50 because it's saying the whole.
Okay.
On a good day, sales reach about 50 Ghana cedis. Health belongs to the friend who makes the work possible. From his own share, transport takes 5 cedis, food takes 10. The rest must somehow make it to tomorrow, because if they don't make it to the farm, these two friends don't eat. Kojo and Kroma's story is also a reminder of the importance of early eye care. Glaucoma is one of the world's leading causes of irreversible blindness. Often, it progresses quietly without warning.
So basically, glaucoma is an eye condition that comes as a result of built up pressure in the eye.
For Kojo and Kroma, the diagnosis came, the treatment was prescribed, but poverty interrupted the prescription. Blindness has also left him vulnerable. He recalls attending a family meeting. A disagreement followed, and then a slap.
Left and right. I'm telling you.
Yet still, bitterness has not become his companion. Work has.
One of purpose rather. Say, Ulipa one that's at least. To be to do ability. A cocoa paria. Nature, you say, and yet, it's best so one way, Saturday, and say, I won't wear them. It's one for no day.
He dreams of returning to the hospital, of buying the medication he could no longer afford, of starting a business that no longer demands climbing trees, and perhaps one day seeing his children again.
Right now. No baby, won't pay baby mum. So if you have a boy and poor and a motor being quite often bread, no friends from there. Infinity. We have to say many a frat, it's also to be in Papa Toby, Mumba, the Stramon, and a mamma's Stramon, and mamma's Stramon, the only reason from Papa Toby, Mumba, my am sir. That's not for Bull Mappa, no cool at Ayapa. semester memory.
Zero.
What began as a simple encounter with a roadside coconut seller turned into a lesson in perseverance. For Kojo Nkrumah, life has presented more than its fair share of challenges. He has lost his sight, endured personal loss, and faces daily challenges that many take for granted. Yet every day, he returns to this spot, determined to earn an honest living and to keep going forward. His story is a reminder that sometimes the strongest vision is not only found in the eyes, but in our determination never to give up. For Joy News, Telmana Anecho Abismith, Agona Diakwa.
Let's go on Zoom right now and engage an optometrist, Dr. Jacqueline Kluche. Dr. Kluche, welcome to the program. We've seen Kojo's story, which is highlighting resilience, but how reflective is his experience of the everyday realities faced by many visually impaired persons in Ghana? Hello, Dr. Kluche, do I have you? Kindly unmute your microphone so we can hear you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you very much for having me here. This is actually one of the realities we've been facing here at the hospital every now and then. And for Mr. Kojo Nkansa's case, it's quite pathetic. And one thing is that possibly, if this have been detected a bit earlier, and then measures have been put in place, maybe it wouldn't have ended him this way.
Right.
But quite unfortunate.
Quite unfortunate indeed. What are some of the biggest barriers that many visually impaired persons continue to face in accessing employment, education, independent living?
Okay, so the thing is, we all want to live an independent life, but it's quite unfortunate that the eye is one of the organs of the body that helps us to be able to navigate our environment. So it means that without the eye, it will be very difficult to move about. And most often, or let me say most especially, without your eye, it means that you have a lot of intruders in your privacy.
Right.
There are lots of things you're able to do well, things you wish you could do. But due to the challenge of visual impairment, most often it's quite difficult to do such things.
Interesting. And with glaucoma being very prevalent, especially among Black people, as we've been made to understand, do you think that this man could have been saved if he had sought treatment earlier?
So one thing about glaucoma is that it progresses with time, but the rate of progression can be slowed down if detected very early. But if it's not detected early, it progresses very fast. And then what happens is that if detected earlier, the medications that are given for the cases of glaucoma, one, they don't cure the glaucoma. They also don't reverse the vision that has been lost. Rather, what it does is that it helps keep the pressure in check. So glaucoma is basically as a result of increased pressure in the eye. And this increased pressure also tends to compress on the vital tissues, especially the optic nerve. So as the pressure increases in the eye, it compresses on these tissues, and then it tends to weaken them, and they damage with time. So what the eye drops does is that it controls the pressure. It controls the pressure so that the remaining vision left will be preserved, or which it will progress will be slowed down. But the vision that has been lost is not restored. Please, I believe.
Right. So that means that the moment you get glaucoma, you are definitely going blind, but at a slower pace if you are able to seek medical care earlier, from what you say. Do I have you, Dr. Kluche?
Hello.
Hello, Dr. Kluche. Did you get my question, please? Hello, Dr. Jacqueline Kluche. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Could you please take the question again?
Right. I'm saying that from what you tell us, does it mean that the moment you get glaucoma, you are eventually going to get blind, but if you seek medical attention earlier, your blindness will come at a slower rate? Is that what you're trying to make us understand? Okay, now let's look at what people should do to keep themselves safe. What should people do to protect their eyesight and prevent avoidable blindness? And is glaucoma even avoidable? Can you prevent it from happening?
Okay. So the main thing is that glaucoma is one of the eye conditions that you might, most of the time, does not present with obvious symptoms. So for instance, you might not necessarily feel pains in the eye or blurry vision to even prompt you to quickly run to the hospital with a particular type of glaucoma. So for the glaucoma, we have those that present with symptoms and those that do not present with symptoms. And the type that does not normally present with symptoms are the ones that lead to irreversible blindness. And that is the most prevalent amongst the types of glaucoma. This is because really, it doesn't present with any symptoms. So under normal circumstances, you wouldn't even feel the urge to go for an eye checkup if you are not disciplined enough. So what happens is that if it doesn't present with symptoms, we always encourage regular eye checkup, because if you frequently visit the eye clinic and there are any of such signs, your eye doctor will be able to detect it very early. And just like the earlier discussion, if it is detected very early, the rate at which it may cause permanent vision loss could be slowed down drastically. The pressure could be slowed down. And basically, it is the pressure that causes the damage. If the pressure is managed, then it's going to take a very long time before the person even gets to that stage of blindness.
Dr. Jacqueline Kluche is an optometrist. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon. Let's still stay on Zoom and engage the Executive Director for Ghana Blind Union, Dr. Peter Obein-Asamoah. Dr. Asamoah, welcome to the program. Kojo's story is one of many that we've seen all around. What do you make of the challenges that people like Kojo face in their daily activities as blind persons in the country? Hello, Dr. Obein-Asamoah, do I have you? Unfortunately, we do not have Dr. Obein-Asamoah on the line with us, but we'll try to reconnect with him subsequently. But in the meantime, Kenya's rapidly digitized economy is emerging as a major draw for Ghanaian businesses expanding into East Africa and the African Continental Free Trade Area after. Investors say that while fragmented cross-border payment systems remain one of the biggest barriers to intra-Africa trade, Kenya's deliberate use of technology to simplify business registration and improve the ease of doing business is attracting capital and accelerating enterprise growth. They believe Ghana can replicate parts of the model to strengthen its own investment climate and competitiveness. My colleague Carlos Coloni has just returned from Nairobi, where he spoke with the CEO of a fast-growing Ghanaian company about the opportunities and realities of doing business in one of Africa's most digitized economies, Kenya.
Part of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, many Ghanaian businesses are penetrating into other markets. One of those businesses that has expanded all the way to Kenya is Jekris Medical Supplies. and they have been in Kenya for some time. I'm going to be speaking to the company's CEO, Stephen Thierry Jekwe, to really understand what informed the decision to venture into the Kenyan market and what the prospects and the challenges really are. Welcome to the conversation. What are you basically into?
We are into medical consumable and lab equipment. So it ranges from machines that are used in the hospitals and equipment. We normally deal with high-level equipment like hematology analyzers. We look at other equipment such as anesthesia machines, and many other great equipment that you can look for. We actually deal into it.
So, like, how many branches do you have in Ghana?
In Ghana, at the moment, we have 3 branches. We can be found in Kumasi, Accra, and also in Takoradi. Our level of engagement in Ghana actually grew to the extent that most of the big hospitals in Ghana, we actually supply them. And we've noticed that because our vision is to improve health and inspire hope in people, and then the community we serve, we actually have found it very important to go beyond the borders of Ghana and grow beyond it. So here we are growing.
So which country are you in now?
At the moment, we are in Kenya. By the grace of God, in 2026, we've actually launched our business in Kenya. And that's a great growth for us. And we are looking at going into more African countries. But Kenya is hosting us very beautifully.
Nice. So one of the questions on my mind is why didn't you expand to, say, Togo or Ivory Coast or South Africa, for instance, and Kenya? Why Kenya?
Well, Kenya being the first country to enter, because when we do research and we look into the communities, Africa is divided into communities, and we have seen the East African community, Kenya being the hub where we will be able to start from and enable us to enter into other East Africa countries like Tanzania, Rwanda, Ethiopia, South Sudan, and what have you. And Kenya structure and its engagement have actually given us a flag processes, has made it very easy for the registration and engagement with our clients. I see Kenya to be a good model example for many countries to actually learn from, because digitizing the processes has made it easy for registering a company and operating it. Kenya actually uses the model of online, like they've digitized their processes. So you go online, you look at the requirements, and then you go by it. Once you file online, you have between 7 to 14 days to get a feedback. After 14 days, you'll be sent an email giving you the certificate of incorporation and any other supporting document that's actually certified.
And you're good to go?
We are good to go. You're good to go. Yeah, so...
So you have done business, you've registered businesses in Ghana.
Yeah.
You've done so also here in Kenya.
Yeah.
What do you make of the two regimes?
I should say that Ghana, we should really learn a lot from Kenya in terms of digitizing our processes. One of the amazing things that's really amazed me was buying vehicle for my marketing reps. I was so shocked that I actually made a deal buying the car around 5 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
By 5:30, I've been able to do transfer of ownership online.
Within 30 minutes?
Within 30 minutes, my brother. I was amazed. I said, wow, can our DVLA come and learn these processes? Because I know registering vehicle in Ghana takes you a number of
days or months.
I mean, when you buy a vehicle for someone, to transfer the ownership involve a lot of things. Within 30 minutes, I've been able to transfer the ownership online. Every payment digitized. The M-Pesa works here. Every payment is M-Pesa.
Are there any lessons Ghana can learn from the way business is done here in Kenya?
Oh yes, there are many lessons operating here. I think Ghana can learn from Kenya because during the registration, I would say that most of the things have been done online, and the human interface actually was very less. Registering our product here was very easy compared to when I was registering my product in Ghana. You know, it's just about applying online. Having the important necessary documents will help you to actually easily access whatever you want to actually. So I think the flexibility in engaging and getting approval is very, very hard.
What are the prospects?
Great prospect I see. There's a lot of opportunities for one to tap in here. Opportunities in the area of health, in the area of agriculture, in the area of manufacturing. Yeah, great prospect. Yeah, we just started to have one branch. We are looking at expanding to Mombasa and other counties in Kenya. Yeah, currently we are in Nairobi.
Okay. Looking at their legal regime, you've touched on how efficient they are when you want to register your business or your product. In terms of the legal regime for businesses, how would you describe it?
Good. Very good. Their legal regime for business is good. You know, I will look at it from the perspective of the Revenue Authority in terms of KRA. Their engagement is very digitized, and legal engagement allowing other companies from other countries to actually join them is flexible and very transparent.
Definitely, I believe there will be challenges. What are some of the challenges you face here?
Well, challenges so far, I should say, will have to do with, let's say, cross-border transactions. You know, transferring funds from Ghana to set up here is quite challenging because of the restrictions in terms of movement of funds, as well as penetrating into the market.
There are restrictions, you can't move funds easily.
Yes, not really. A lot of documentations where, you know, for instance, if I have to pay a rent here, which costs me more than $10,000, and I have to add documents to it from my country. Yes, but you know, any transfer that is made, even though when you give supporting documents, first, you need to later provide other documents
to justify why you're doing the transfer.
Yeah. For instance, when I have to order the stock from Ghana to Kenya, you know, my bankers are requesting that when the stock comes, I need to bring back the custom document to come and prove clearing of it, which is quite challenging. So I think that barrier has to be looked at. Africa is one community, one country, and trading between one another, the financial transactions should be very, very easy. It bring my mind to the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, which actually has a component in called PAPS that should give flexible opportunity to do business among African countries. So that's part of the CFTA should be looked at properly and be implemented well, so that, like as I'm here now, for me to transfer funds from my Ghana office to Kenya, a lot of processes. So I think 2 days ago I have to have a meeting with my bankers, which I'm very fortunate to have also a branch in Ghana.
Okay.
To see the best way we can actually handle these transfers to make it easy.
Looking at what is happening in South Africa now, where they're asking Africans to leave their country, and you know, many are losing their businesses in South Africa. Don't you have the fear that something like that could also happen to Ghanaian investors here in Kenya?
Well, I should say Kenyans are very friendly people. They are very welcoming. They are forward-looking people. And, well, there's a little fear like that, but as an investor, you need to have the hope. And one belief I have is the way they have set their system and how flexible they have made things. I believe that there will be the possibility of what South Africans are doing will not actually be here.
Anyway, interesting. So is Kenya a place that you would recommend for Ghanaian businesses to really look at? I mean, for maybe they want to expand or something?
Yeah, yes, of course. Kenya is a very good environment to look at. The political environment is peaceful. The people are good. And there are strong minds willing to have strong partnership to actually engage. So Ghanaians should not only be thinking about Ghana, they should expand beyond Ghana. They should see there are many opportunities beyond Ghana, and I'm expecting them to rise up strongly to be noticed in Africa. Yeah, it's very important. And Kenya is one of the friendly environments they can begin with. And I believe beginning from a friendly environment gives you the hope and the confidence to be able to search into other countries. That will help you.
Where do you see Jekris Medical Supplies in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, we are looking at being found in about 5 more countries. Yeah. And we are looking at surging ahead to become one of the hub of manufacturing examination gloves that will take care of the African regions.
What level of support are Ghanaian businesses receiving through the High Commission? Don't forget the president said the High Commission should now become business hubs, not just diplomatic and then switch talks and all that. What would be your own assessment of what the Ghana High Commission here in Kenya has been doing for businesses?
I must say they have been very wonderful, very friendly. You know, gone were the days, I think, to when you're from Ghana in other countries, it's difficult to access the services of your foreign missions there. But these people have really shocked me. You know, I came earlier, about a week ahead, and the day I will launch my company, I really forgot to engage them. It was on a Saturday. I remembered I have to engage these people, and I placed a call to them. I was so amazed that they told me I shouldn't worry. I've given a short notice, but they will be there. And they were there massively. And they have actually given me their wish. There will be any opportunity that is available for my company, they will promote it. And I think they are doing great. Very, very well. Good human relationship. And as you can see, they have wonderful staffs. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Stephen Thierry Jokwe.
Thank you very much
for speaking to us here on Joy News.
From Kenya, let's do politics because former acting managing director of the Ghana Airports Company Limited, Frances Esiam, has thrown her support behind Eugene Boakye-Ntry's bid to become the next General Secretary of the opposition NPP. According to her, Eugene Boakye-Ntry stands out as the strongest candidate for the position, citing his experience within the party, organizational skills, and understanding of its structures. The former NPP parliamentary candidate for Adenta says she believes Eugene Boakye-Ntry is best placed to help reposition the NPP, strengthen its grassroots machinery, and provide the leadership needed at the party secretariat as it prepares for the future.
Honorable Eugene, honorable because we are parliament, honorable because we are serving party in many capacities from UK down. And to look at mechanic say, ye per John like figure. We've never had a vibrant general secretary after the Dambotris and the Sir Johns. Mr. Ramo, we are doing serious business. Now me, I'm objective, I'm fair. Mr. Diana who said, currently, no, he's the best for the party. Until now, I say, me so many makudia day. Egu from Nami Dirachi. Yaka Eugene Boakye-Ntry honorable UK MPP Bejira ni sune jinaye. Ejuma o, to me o, me friend is in Amiba yo. One more trust wako baby. We will meet as a zone and talk more. Why Eugene Boakye-Ntry should become the next General Secretary of the new patriotic party.
Well, that's Frances Esiam there. Let's engage her right now on the polls. Madam Siam, welcome to the program. You say that you need Sir John and Dambuche kind of people to be the General Secretary of the NPP. Why is that?
Hello, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good. Did you hear my question,
I believe,
please?
Yeah, I believe we've reached the crossroads. We know where the party stands today. We need vibrant, bold, honest, frank persons to lead the party or to be in the leadership of the party. If we are to grasp power in 2028, I can assure you that is the likes of Honorable Eugene Boakye, who has actually gathered a lot of experience. He's competent, he has the capacity, he has a track record, and I know he can do the job. At first, I really wasn't in Eugene's corner, but I looked at his track record from UK down. I've known Eugene for quite some time. And I believe that if you combine his efforts with that of John Aboagye, Howard Kumsen, and others who are coming in, I'm of the strong belief that this party will move forward, because Eugene says it as it is. We don't need a leadership where grabbing money left and right is the ultimate. We don't need a leadership where cliquism, factionalism is the deal. We don't need a leadership who would be approaching every Tom, Dick, and
The American say, answer now, Honorable Eugene.
Sorry, your sound interrupted. Please carry on.
Okay, we need a leadership that is focused and knows what it's about. That is what we call competence and capacity. We need the loyalty. We also need the commitment. And if you look at Eugene, he reminds you of our past competent general secretaries. Honestly speaking, you can't be a general secretary like Justin Frimpong Kodria, who claimed that the past executive, before he came into office, had led us to 137 seats. So they were like the Orwellian theory of Animal Farm. Then 2 legs were bad, 4 legs were good. And therefore, that was his mantra, that we should vote for him. He will be a 3-star general. Today, you have led us to 87. 88. Akwetia went off 87. And you're asking us to bring you back? It's virtually impossible. Again, I think we're summing up because this news time. If you look at Greater Accra, for instance, let me give you a typical example. Where you have a Minister for Interior and the person of Henry Quarty, my own brother, then you had Titus Glover, regional minister and chairman of the Regional Security Council. I mean, look at them. Where these stalwarts were. Sam George, Honorable Sam George went round with others from the NDC, raiding coalition centers and packing our seats. We went down like a pack of cards. So I'll urge delegates that nobody should joke this time around. Pennies being spent around is nothing. It's all our party monies which have been backed and been given back. So I'm saying that Honorable Eugene Boakye can help with John Aboagye, Howard Kumsen, and others, a competent leadership, a leadership of, what can galvanize the entire party body, our body politic as MPP, the corporate entity, known as the elephant, to bring back the power that we need. They can power the Baumia vehicle. They will not bring it down and bring the party down. So I'll not talk at length. Because when the time comes, I think we'll really let our voices be heard.
Frances, so from what I've been listening to you say, you are trying to say that part of the defeat of the MPP in the 2024 general elections were up to the executives, correct?
Absolutely. Every executive member must leave, because it's only decent that when you've brought the party under your leadership to such a cruising defeat, so that the flag bearer was sitting on a lame horse, which crashed, and therefore the entire party crashed. So if we entrust our power to you as the vanguard, you do not campaign on the altar of increasing seats, and then you decrease them dramatically by 50 seats. When somebody had brought us to 137, 30-something seats. Look at Ashanti region, the worst of all. The General Secretary could not deliver his own region. How on earth do we lose 3 more critical seats, like Akufo-Addo and others in Ashanti region, which happens to be a stronghold? How did NDC get 33%? The General Secretary, the leadership, they were not calculating. They were not coming out with strategies. Excuse me to say that their think tanks had gone dead. It's all about position, elections, internal party elections, positions like they are clamoring now. And I, as Obatampa Ordino Francis Eradrisiam, I'm telling all and sundry MPP members, delegates, all the current executive must leave. Let's sweep the agents' tables clean and move on with a fresh fifth and a fresh wind.
Well,
leadership.
Okay. During your opening remarks, you said that you need somebody like Sir John, you need somebody like Dambotre. These were people who were mostly described as very aggressive in their approaches. But don't you think that with the kind of politics that we have reached now as a country, we have moved on from this John kind of politics, and perhaps we don't need a Sir John kind of politician again?
My brother, we are not talking of aggression.
Okay.
As Shakespeare quoted in one of his books, I believe it should be Julius Caesar or Macbeth, one of them, it said, there's no art to find the mind's construction in the face. Please, Shakespearean literature. One, I may be taken as an aggressive person, but I'm bold, I'm frank, I say it as it is.
Right.
I don't care who faults is God. And that is what I'm talking about. We're not talking of negative aggression, but we're talking of positive action. We're talking of being bold. We're talking of facing the storms, facing the odds, making sure that you keep the ship or the boat afloat. Like Jesus said to the disciples, fear not. He appeared when they were afraid that they were drifting, they would sink. But Christ came on the boat and saved them, didn't he? He gave them that, what do you call it, that confidence. And they didn't shake anymore. And they were steadied. That is what I'm talking about. So I believe aggression is a wrong dictum to use now. Because aggression has never been positive or negative. I believe you want to say boldness. If you are not bold, if you want to please everybody, if you are not firm, if you can't instill discipline in the party, if you don't bring years of experience to bear, you can't. And please, those who are coming into leadership, if they make it, you'll find out that they've gone through the mill. Unfortunately, we have some of our executives. Our current General Secretary has never been through any proper election, except when he was being elected as General Secretary. He was an acting youth organizer in the Ashanti region. Gideon Bwaku left for further studies, and he became the acting. He was the deputy, then he became appointed deputy. Then he became the acting. And at the end of the day, he became the substantive.
Right.
So how many cycles of elections has he failed? So when we talk of capacity, competence, you believe, as you said, you have capacity training programs, don't you? At multimedia.
We do.
It is supposed to build you on the job. So my brother, I don't want us to talk too much. All I'm saying is that Eugene Boakye entry is the man for the job.
Right.
From UK, through Parliament, through the ministerial roles he's played, and other roles, committees of the party, you know. And when you look at people like Eugene, you can see the hope, you can see the sunshine, you can see the glimmer. You know that this time it's not a mirage. It is going to be positive action.
Okay.
Osono, kukurudu, all the way. Eshti, radu. Eugene Entry niye, Baumia niye, MPP niye,
Right.
Thank you.
Frances, don't go yet. I'll come back to you shortly. But let me bring in Haruna Mohammed. He's the Deputy General Secretary of the NPP. Haruna, welcome to the conversation. Well, there are calls from the likes of Frances Siam for your boss, Justin Kodua-Frimpong, not to run again. In fact, she's saying that the current crop of executives, including yourself, should not be voted for again. Does she have a case, you'd think?
Well, good afternoon to Atari US, and then good afternoon to her. Well, we live in a democracy, and she has the constitutional right to indicate but that the opinion expressed is grounded within the structure.
Hello, Haruna, do I have you?
Yes.
Yes.
You have me?
Yes, carry on.
Yes, I said good afternoon to your Charles US, and then good afternoon to Madam Frances Siam. She has every right to express her opinion with regards to internal contest, with respect to whoever she thinks that she would want to support. But as to whether calling for my boss not to contest, whether it situates itself in the structure of our constitutional view, that is where the question lies, because that is her opinion. Well, for me, I have listened to her, and she's going in for one of the candidates that is contesting us, and she has enumerated the positions that my boss has held, and then also that of Eugene Aboagye. But what she fails to tell you is that Eugene went to parliamentary primaries in the Ashanti region and lost out because he was completely rejected by the people in Subin constituency. My boss has been a CEO, he has been a deputy minister, and if you put them at par in terms of performance and how impactful they have been on the people of the MPP and the people of Ghana, definitely Justin Kodua-Frimpong is far, far, far ahead of Eugene Aboagye entry. If you also take the two of them to the Ashanti region and you rate the two of them in terms of how they resonate well with the people in Ashanti region, how they are able to control the structures within the Ashanti region, and you match the two of them, I don't think that Eugene can come close to Justin Kodua-Frimpong when it comes to Ashanti region influence. You see, there are many people that are seeking to reduce the performance of the General Secretary, that's why Justin Kodua-Frimpong, to a single election statistic. And I think that they are deliberately ignoring the broader reality that's the 2024 outcome. And more important, the ministerial reform that has been undertaken during tenure. If you look at the structure of the party, and at the point that the party was taken over by the case of Mr. 17, and a lot of things happened. And significant among is how the factors the party has now worked. How a national executive party have been put to all parties.
Haruna, I'm losing you. If you could kindly speak up for me, I'm losing you intermittently. Let's try one more time.
Yes, I think because I am on the road, I'm traveling on the road, but I've parked at one place, and I think that is the best network I can get for you.
Okay, you're audible now.
The 2024 elections was fought in an environment that is characterized by economic hardships, global inflationary pressures, incumbency fatigue, after 8 years in government, and widespread of public dissatisfaction with government issues. So if you look at these issues and you want to attribute the government issues to the party's performance, then you would miss the point, because Frances Siam herself was part of the government structure. And you also know where she was, the kind of troubles and issues that came out there, and the impact of the issues in her office, how it reflected on the voters or the voting situation of the party as as well as matching it against the government. So for me, I think that people are right to support any candidate, but we must be very careful as to how we chain out inappropriate and data that cannot be tested over time. Because Justin Kodua-Frimpong, the young man as it is the one that has been the pivot of the party. The pivot of the party. One of the biggest constitutional amendments that has happened to this party happened under him. The digitalization of the aspects of the party in terms of dues collection, in terms of communication aspect, in terms of the party school, ideological school, you cannot run away from it. And the kind of expansion that we have within the party. How he is able to hold the party in opposition because we just went out of power, and how he is able to manage and be able to crack the whip in some of the situations because of the indisciplined nature of people. Today, many of the senior members of the party, people sit and make utterances that needed to be kept. Right. And people don't understand this. The general secretary alone cannot just issue a letter to suspend somebody. The party structures must work. So the only thing he can do is to refer the person to the structure of the party to deal with that particular person. So if a structure fails to deal with somebody in terms of the person's utterance, in terms of a disciplinary action, you cannot ultimately put it before the general secretary as his failure. So there are a lot of factors, but I think that we are going into the contest. It is the delegates that are going to decide who is supposed to lead. But if we are putting the two of them, their candidate and my candidate, I think that Justin Kodua-Frimpong, then there is not going to be any contest at all. If it is Eugene against Justin Kodua-Frimpong, no contest at all.
Haruna, Frances makes an interesting argument. She says that your boss, Justin Kodua-Frimpong, superintended over one of the worst election defeats that we've seen in this country of any major political party. From 137 MPs, you are now below 90 MPs. And of course, with great power comes equal responsibility. I'm sure that your boss would have said that the party should elect him should you have won the election based on those election results. So really, is it not fair that Frances can say that your boss superintended over such astronomical defeat, and based on that and that alone, he shouldn't be retained?
The current national chairman of the NDC superintended over a worst defeat of the NDC in 2016, which has never happened in this country before. As a result of that, he was not sent away. And I have also enumerated the factors that has contributed to the worst defeat, including them, those who were participating in government, including her, because of the situation they put the party in terms of what they were doing in their offices. So if there were inflationary measures, if there were global crisis in terms of supply chain, if there were issues of dissatisfaction of government programs, if there were issues of apathy, so you were expecting the general secretary, who is not the national chairman and who is not the president of the Republic of Ghana, to be able to change all this particular dynamic. Remember, the general secretary at a point had to call out the president to reshuffle, or even call out members of the party who were given positions if they are tired, to put their tools down so that other people to be appointed. All these calls were not needed to. And you expect the general secretary to be able to carry that. You expect the general secretary to be able to carry that. Remember, the government performances, what the government does, has a direct impact on the party. And the government is not obliged to listen to the party because the government feels so powerful than the party. Right. So these are some of the things that people ignore. And when they are making analysis, they don't factor those issues in. And that is why they make very wrong conclusions when it comes to performance. But if you come to the party, within the party structure, the work that the general secretary has done, with respect to holding the party, with respect to the structural transformation, with respect to the development of party manual, with respect to the constitutional amendment that has been done in terms of expansions, with respect to how party people, interaction with the party people, the campaign contributions that he has made, going across region to region, constituency to constituency, to campaign. This is the first time a general secretary has been able to make such rounds. And I followed him throughout in this particular campaign. We have also sat down to have several meetings and strategy with party people. And this has been very impactful. So a total failure of the government structure cannot be amounted to a failure of the General Secretary.
Right. Haruna, don't go yet. I still have Frances Esiam on the line. Frances, you would want to respond to the claims that are being made by Haruna Mohammed?
Absolutely. This is getting interesting. Can you hear me, please?
I can, loud and clear.
Good. This is getting interesting. You cannot attack my personality. I have a very thick skin. And I will want to tell you, I never said Justin Kodua should not contest. Please correct him or play back. I said delegates must not vote for him. It's his business to contest. It's his democratic right. But when Justin Kodua was campaigning, please, let's be consistent. He said that their leadership had brought the party to 137 from 169, and he has taken us, his general 88, Akufo-Addo lost 87. We are talking of track record. We are talking of competence. He was a CEO, I was a CEO. We are all in the housing corporation now. Are we occupying any government positions? That's not what we are talking of. Everybody knows the work I did as cylinder. It has allowed them to go on. It's no longer dysfunctional. We are not discussing government of Nana Addo Akufo-Addo. If they feel the government failed, ask him, why did they go around the CEOs, packing monies, whichever went to the ground? We will not wash our dirty linen in public. And my brother, tell him that there's more to it than he knows. And one, let him know I never caused trouble anywhere. He should know that I'm an asset to the New Patriotic Party, more than he, Haruna. And I'm an icon and a symbol of somebody who crossed over from the NDC after I was whipped with just justification. And I'm the only one who has stayed through thick and thin with the MPP for almost how many years now? So I'm saying, I left NDC in 2005. Last year was 20 years, so please. I joined the New Patriotic Party after DFP. In 2018, July, I was hailed by this party. We worked very hard. And so 2018, I would have been 20 years. 2028 will be 20 years. So let Haruna know that monkeys play by sizes. He should stick to his level. He is Kodua. Kodua made him get the appointment. I don't give a hoot. But the truth will be said. I've told Dr. Bawumia himself, if Kodua becomes General Secretary again, we're going to lose by 3 million votes. He doesn't have a track record in the MPP. Being CEO of YEA, I was also CEO of Ghana Cylinder. They had government funds to be pulled there, even to be paying people and their workers in the private sector. I never had one cedi from government. It took my colleagues in the energy sector to be doing what you call, do you know what grassroots call bra bra? That means begging. Today is gold, tomorrow is Ghana gas. That's why I started the amalgamation or the crystallization. And today, go ask Moncare, the new CEO. Today, it has worked out and the company is now functional. I got 16 acres of land for a new cylinder hub. And Alan Chamantin was working with us to take us through West Africa to Central Africa. So tell him that I'm a development expert. I'm a planning expert. I have my MGM. I have my LLB. I have my BA in political science. He shouldn't bring himself because, as I said, I'm a woman of substance.
Right.
And I'm very knowledgeable. I've been to the best of schools in this country. And I've been to tertiary proper. I've had my master's, my first degree, my master's, my LLB, and continuing on and on. So let Haruna know that when you are having an intelligent debate, when you are debating within the decent bounds of communication, you do not hit below the belt. Because if I hit below the belt, his body will collapse. He shouldn't go there. It's internal elections. Everybody has a right to contest. But not everybody. from the CEOs. What were they doing with it? If you're in the leadership, I said Dunketia he mentioned, please. I said Dunketia, when His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, my own classmate in Atwater Primary, had made that abysmal performance. I'm talking of 2016. That's how I will put it, like you're putting us now. I said Dunketia worked hard, and they came up to 137, but they didn't go down totally like Kodria has done. The gentleman knows, Justin knows his field. As he was coming in, I said he couldn't do the work. I was asked to apologize by Edward Watson, then Singer boss, and I've been proved right. He should rather come and give me my stone, and they should pack out of the national headquarters. They are all not fit for purpose as the leadership of the New Patriotic Party. So they should go. Okay. Whatever they've got, it's enough.
Right.
Bye-bye, Haruna. Bye. I'm out.
Frances.
Do not dance me. I think you know me very well.
Okay, Frances. Don't go yet.
Have a good lunch. Bon appetit. Au revoir. Au revoir.
Frances, please don't go yet. Please don't go yet, because I still have Haruna Mohammed on the line with me. Haruna, you've been listening to Frances, who says that if
hello. I am not surprised there is talk. Going to the highest does not mount impact. You go to the highest web, who go to Brussels, who come up better. If we are going to count our academic credentials, perhaps just mentioned 2 masters, I have 3 master's degrees. I've taught in the university. I've worked in public service for 20 years. Maybe it doesn't know. It does that Justin Kodria just me from anywhere.
Haruna, please help me. Please reposition yourself respectfully.
It's very clear. I went to the country, a state number of programs, including here in Japan. I didn't know that. I rather trained, so she know that. In terms of party, I am not a student. For her to say that she has a peg that means in the MP, that is absolutely false. Because I started with the MP for her. And my impact within the MP structure cannot measure. And that is what it's supposed to do. And that's a very critical point here. We are discussing about people's performance. I have just narrated how CEO's impact, including her, on how we lost the elections. And she's not jittering and making a lot of noise on that. I don't fear to have a public discussion with her in studio. If you go and ask who Haruna is, I'm a pure Dagomba man from Dagon. And I don't fear anything in my life. I'm a pure Dagomba man, so she should know it. If she wants me a give and take, I'll get it for her. And that is who I am. But it is critical for people to know that history teaches a great political parties that we are to build through, nobody is supposed to build through panic, but through preparation. And while others are focusing on outcomes, on one difficult elections, JFK is focusing on rebuilding the structure that will deliver victory in the future elections. The systems being developed are being stabilizing the structure that we have today.
Right.
The system that we have put together is bringing the party together. The system that he's putting in is making sure that every party member is involved. Every party member identifies his or her role. That is how we build a party. That is how we build party. That is how we move party. If you lose elections, doesn't necessarily mean that you have lost everything. So if Justin Kodria Frimpong as the general secretary, not even the national chairman, leading the party to lose an election, which is not an election that means that the party would have won it anyway. This is an 8-year election. It is not history. Okay. It is not any history at all to lose 2024 elections because the MPP had done 8 years. We were looking to cross the 8th year to make a history. So if you lose after 8 years, it is not a direct attack because that is how political parties have lost elections in Ghana today. So if you had lost the elections in 2020 and it was Justin Kodria, then you could have amounted the failure to him because this is a routine loss of elections in Ghana. So it's not a history. It's not anything huge. But it reminds us that we have to remain focused. We have to rebuild. We need to also bring people together and ensure that we identify where we have fallen and ensure that we are able to build on it. And that is why we are saying that he has been through those particular processes. He knows what had happened. He knows what to change, and he knows what to correct, and he knows what to add onto it to be able to get the victory. And that is why we are saying that he is the most person that is prepared, the person that is focused, the person that is to deliver the victory for us, and the person who knows the right thing to be treated in 2028. And that is why we are saying that it is only Justin Kodua-Frimpong who can take this particular mantle to ensure that the wrongs are corrected and the rights are improved upon.
That's quite interesting there. Do I still have Frances Asiam with me?
You still have me with you, my dear. All I'm saying is that, my brother, on a peaceful note, if you come to debate on behalf of your candidate, I have said everything that I can. Kodua is an incumbent. I will not come against anybody competing. Kodua is an incumbent. He has led us into the ditch. So he will go. And tell Haruna, he shouldn't compare Kodua to Asiedu Nketia. Never, ever. Never, ever. What Asiedu Nketia is to the NDC, Kodua cannot be to the MPP. We have seen general secretaries. He doesn't fit the bill. I said it before he came in his first term. And Haruna is, being economical with the word, with his words. If he says 80, that's not like 80. It's 4 years. And the time is up. So please, they should leave the office. When we go to Kumasi, they should quickly come and pack and go. Because we are going to take people on a tour to look at things that people didn't have and what they have. When you're a CEO of YEA, it is not, excuse me to say, somebody's private property. So don't come and tell us, Kodua was who appointed Akufo-Addo? And today you are saying Akufo-Addo failed, Bawumia failed. So why do you want to be general secretary? If you say the administration, everything was tough as is today. If you can't work for the party to win, and then you come and tell us that the administration failed, there's a difference between governance and our party political entity, the MPP. The MPP is on the presidency. So you as the deputy general secretary, it's a shame for you to come and denigrate the Akufo-Addo Bawumia-led government. So whose general secretary do you want to be? Bawumia, MPP, which still has an Akufo-Addo as immediate past. So these are the people, source of discord. Allah has come, Afri-Franto, you couldn't stem the tide. The base is loading. You can't stem the tide. So, my brother, it is not the same, and it will never be the same. On this note, we'll have better conversations because I'm a fighter, I'm bold, I'm not aggressive. I believe in what God has ordained. And tell Haruna, they are misnomers, they are mismatched, they are misfits and Kodua. The executive must go. Our hearts are bleeding and aching. We do not want them, and we'll ensure that they are not voted. When they hooted at Independence Square, they'll hoot again at them. I said, you watch it unfolding and loading.
Frances, let me come in here. Let's look at this hypothetical case that your candidate, Eugene, does not win. You've already said that Justin Kodua-Frimpong will let the MPP lose a whopping 3 million votes if he is to stay in his position once again. If Eugene does not win this contest, what happens? Would you throw your support behind the eventual winner, even if it is Justin Kodua-Frimpong?
My brother, that is a hypothetical question. In January, I was asked the same thing. If Dr. Bawumia does not win, I said he will win on Saturday. That was 3 days to election on another sister media network. I can't mention because I'm on Joy. And I'm saying that Frimpong Kodua, no matter what, will not win. After I said and done, he's not the only person running for general secretary. There are a few hopefuls, and I'm saying Honorable Eugene Boatwentri would take it hands down. But as for Justin Kodua, in the worst and scariest scenario and alternative, he will not take it today, he will not take it tomorrow. And let him know that his icons in Kumasi will be tourist attractions to let delegates know that when people come around giving you pretenses, They end up, it's robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Right.
And we're saying we need a fresh gush of wind energy. We need to galvanize the party. We need to do the issue rado. We need to do the Aboagye, and so it's enough.
Right.
Justin, bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Right. Stay with me, Frances, because the conversation is getting ever interesting. And for our viewers who are watching us, and for those who do not know the two gentlemen we are discussing, so Eugene Boakye is the one in white on the left side of the screen, and Justin Kodua Frimpong is the current General Secretary. He is the one in Fugu on the right side of the screen in that MPP colors of red, white, and blue. I still have Haruna Mohammed with me. Haruna, if somebody is watching at home, the person says, or the person might be thinking, this is more like a fire on the mountain. Whatever happens in this contest, in the upcoming contest, it appears that cracks will start to show in the New Patriotic Party regardless of who wins. Do you see cracks showing in your party after these elections are over?
Oh, the MPP has always been very stronger than what people see from outside. After the elections, I want you to put it on record, and I'll come back to your studio.
Right.
Lawyer Justin Kodua Frimpong will be the General Secretary of the party.
Okay.
Eugene will not even come second.
Right.
He won't come second. Just mark it down. Politics
have.
And campaign.
Today is 3rd August.
It's not about your emotions and the person you support. It's about how you are able to mix yourself with the people and the delegates. And that is why I am telling you, we have done so far 5 regions. And I'm telling you on authority that Lawyer Justin Kodua Frimpong will remain the General Secretary of the party after the Kumasi conference. That is how it's going to be. I want to also correct this. I never passed a verdict on Akufo-Addo's government. I said the 2024 election was fought in an environment that is characterized by economic hardship, global inflationary pressures, incumbency fatigue, and pressures that were coming in from other governance issues, and a wide spread of public dissatisfaction. This global crisis was not limited to Ghana alone. Dissatisfaction to government issues and performances were related to certain individuals even within the government, and I pointed out and classically mentioned where she was occupying the issues that have come out from the governance issues. I also talked about other analysis that has been attributed to the election. So everybody knows that incumbency fatigue is one of the contributing factors. And I am telling you on authority that Akufo-Addo's government contributed hugely to the success that we got. But because of the issues of dissatisfaction and what have you, you could not attribute the dissatisfaction to the party, but it is going to be attributed to the government. And that is not a verdict. That is not a verdict, not at all. So it should not be misconstrued to say that I have said Akufo-Addo did not perform. That is not. That is factually incorrect. And I hail Akufo-Addo in high esteem. I hail Dr. Aboagye in high esteem. And we are not perfect as a government. We were not perfect. But we did a lot of things to impact the people. But the people decided that, no, let's change the government. And once the government has been changed, it cannot be a verdict on one individual just because the person was the General Secretary. In many of the instances, we have admitted on some of the things that have been done. And we say that given the next opportunity, a lot of things will be done differently to be able to change the dynamics to get the MPP back to power. But certainly not another candidate. But it certainly is going to be Lawyer Justin Kodua Frimpong. So for me, we must engage in issues-based campaign. That is what we're supposed to do. What did he do? What did he come and meet? And if you talk about numbers, I have said it, that if you reduce the performance of General Secretary Justin Kodua to a single election statistics, then it is a deliberate effort of ignoring the broader realities that shaped the 2024 election. So whether we have reduced from this number to that number, I am telling you that the reduction in the parliamentary seats Eugene has been a contributor to the reduction in the parliamentary seat because he himself was rejected at the primaries, not to even represent the party. Such a person who has been rejected in primaries in Ashanti region, the majority whole of the region has been rejected, not even a second. He was the last person in the primaries as a sitting member of parliament for him to become general secretary. It's unfortunate, but let's go. A contest of ideas, let's go, and I'll show you in due course. I'll tell you the numbers general secretary is going to use to win the elections.
Right.
There is nothing that is stopping Lawyer Kudria from becoming the general secretary for the second term.
Okay, I want to thank.
Going to happen.
Right, Haruna Mohammed, I want to thank you very much for your time this evening. He's the Deputy General Secretary of the Opposition MPP, and earlier we heard from Frances Asiam, who is also former acting MD for Ghana Cylinder Company and also a former parliamentary aspirant on the ticket of the MPP in the Adentan constituency. And Frances and Haruna, we would like to have you in the studio for a proper conversation subsequently. Let's still stay with the opposition MPP because the party has met with the police ahead of the party's planned protest this week. And joining me for now is the party's national youth organizer, Salam Mustafa. Salam, welcome to the program. Have you been given the green light by the Ghana Police Service to stage this demonstration you describe as a mammoth protest?
Thank you for having me. Indeed, as you're aware, the Public Order Act stipulates that we give the police a 5-day working notice, which we have complied with. And today, the police invited us for a meeting, and I can confirm that the meeting was very successful. The police are satisfied with our arrangements. Further details are being worked on to be submitted to the police per the route we have them. But in short, the procession would move from in front of the Supreme Court, the community center there. That's where we will converge Thursday morning, and we will drop the first petition with the Supreme Court.
Right.
And, move take the Yoko tent and proceed that moving state. If what's under that, they speak the House, where we'll send the second petition to the office of the President. Then a final petition submitted to Parliament by the leadership, by the leadership, of the minority. So.
Your family and friends. That's it for the Pulse this evening. The news team returns at 7 p.m. with News Prime. Have a good evening.
cannot give up on.